Hello there. Are you able to hear me?
Hello, Eddie.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So I'll be talking, if you want to turn your if you want to turn off your video or just leave me on audio, there's no problem whatsoever. This session will be recorded and I will post it later on in YouTube. Okay.
Okay.
We have other people with us as well. So I'll wait a little more minutes, a little bit. Then I'll go over the process with everybody. The morning session was within 2 hours, so this should be it as well. Okay. If you
Okay.
have any questions throughout, please ask away. Okay.
Okay. I signed up for the other meetings training.
Yep. You
Um,
can sign up
the
as many as you want. So a little process I'm gonna go over for today.
okay.
That I will. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the virtual VITA program and how's it gonna be. The reason I'm gonna do that because instead of dumping everything on you guys, the day when it gets closer, I want to talk to you a little bit the steps on it. So when you guys are ready, everybody's like, oh, I remember he kept saying about that. So better than just dump everything on you guys. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you can sign on to and everything else. So real quick, and I'll go in the schedule. Like I said, you're more welcome to. You can sign on. We do have the weekend schedule as well. Bruno is going to be teaching some of those classes. Ms. Johnson is going to be teaching those classes. I'm just teaching for today.
Okay.
And like I said, anything that's today is tape. And I'll put in YouTube. You can watch later on. For those that came to you guys that participate, I'm gonna email it on the PowerPoint. Okay.
Okay. The on the using the tax software. Do you have to sign up for all of those, or is it just
No, just a
one?
few. Whichever you want to do. There's no problem.
Okay.
We just which session you want to do it? The daytime or nighttime or the weekend? Which session you want to? Every session is different. So
Oh, every session is different.
every session we're gonna do different because of all the laws and changes that's gonna affect everybody this year. So we
Okay.
decided
Okay.
we're gonna do different sessions, yeah. But there is no problem, if you want to do it just the weekends or nighttime, it's just it's not really mandatory for this group, but we
Mm-hmm.
just want you guys feeling comfortable. So all the tax layer sessions, we're gonna do it as if you guys were doing the tax return virtual with a client.
Okay. Okay. But they're each different. Each
Yeah,
session is different.
each scenario is gonna be different. So,
Okay. Okay.
we're definitely gonna see. Yeah. Um, so it seems majority and a few other people might join because they did it their last time. So once again, guys, if you wanna welcome, thank you for your time. I know everybody's been busy. Hopefully everybody's is doing well. Thank you for want to participate for next season for the virtual writer program. We are going to be 100% virtual, even if with the vaccines, everything happening the whole season. This whole season we already talk about it. Till the end of it, we are going to be virtual 100%. Okay. So as you guys know, several all of you were with us. We had to shut down the site. So after we shut down the site in March, we had to get the go ahead from Department of Health and Human Service in Montgomery County, and we opened back up. We were one of the few programs nationwide that were authorized to do the virtual VITA program during that time. And we also have the software that we have from tax laying from the IRS. It's a very we're part of this new particular program. You can save it, and I'll go over a little bit. You can save it all the copies of the IDs, W-2s. You can save all the paperwork within the system. So as if you're working, whoever's the client you're working with, you're gonna the paperwork and all the attachments is gonna be saved in the tax return. After 15 days, the system will erase it. So which is great. So that's why we decided we're just gonna keep doing it. Our motto, it's not like it was before that, client come and sit down with you, talks with you within an hour or less. go different process. You do your tax return and there's a quality review. If you have any other questions, somebody come in, it's done. This is a process. It takes time. A quick return would be 2 and 3 days. Return that takes a little longer, maybe up to 5 days. The reason is there's different processes. We are online. There's different. We all not in the same place, and we all have different schedules. The good thing about this schedule being virtual, for example, if John said only Tuesday I'm gonna come in, well, John can log in anytime in the AM for the PM. There's no problem. I know Tuesday is gonna touch whatever is his casework. He's gonna have it. Well, we're gonna have it ready, and I'm gonna go over it. The casework is gonna be ready for him, and he can touch anytime. It can be daytime, nighttime, because it's not about hours. He has certain days he can touch the case. Okay. So, how does this work? How is this our virtual program? Well, as you know, this VITA program is part of the Community Action Agency, which is we helping people change lives. We part of the big poverty partnership nationwide. We also part of the Department of Health and Human Service, and we also part of the government. So there's a lot of unique things that it's going to happen this year, right? So let me go here. Is this working? All right. So this is a little bit just to show you guys how this is going to work. So the virtual tax preparation. So we start here from the beginning. The person will call to make an appointment with us. Once they do appointments, the appointments is going to be set up from Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Those are the phone appointments starting at 10 o'clock to every 3 or 4 appointments for every 30 minutes. Okay. The intake person will do the telephone interview. Once they do the telephone interview, they want to make sure once do they have the paperwork. The paperwork's had to be ready. Are they Montgomery County residents? We still are they within the guideline? For the upcoming season, it's going to be 57,000. So once again, for this upcoming season, our cutoff is going to be 57,000. Okay. Hopefully, after the telephone interview, we'll make sure they'll make sure they'll send us the tax documents. They can send it. Hopefully, there's the system by the fax system that goes towards our email. By the email, our email has a security VPN and a security code to it as well. Once we receive the documents from the taxpayers, we're gonna set up the cases. So usually the intake person is gonna take care of the first 3 steps. All right, 3 or 4 steps, because they may have to meet the person's Zoom to verify the information documents. Okay, this is when they upload the case. So right here, it's mostly if you're not gonna be an intake person but a preparer, this is where it's gonna happen. So for example, if John will log in every Tuesday, there's gonna be a caseload of clients, like 2 or 3 or 4, only on his name already with documents and everything set up, and as much note as possible from the intake person. Okay. When you log in, there's already a case. You already have a caseload that we know you log in on Tuesday, and within Tuesday, we know you have 3 days to finish the tax return as much as possible. If you have any questions, you can email us. Okay, that's when it's going to be assigned to the preparer. During this time, when you complete it, we also going to go over, not today because today is more refresher and going over, but we'll go over how's the process of completing in the end of the tax return and how you assign to a quality review, how a quality review pick up. Afterwards, the quality review will double check the information, pretty much check any notes that if you have it. Afterwards, they'll set up a Zoom meeting with the taxpayer or a phone meeting. I would prefer to do a Zoom meeting setup. Once again, since we are part of the VITA program that was virtual when COVID and all the rise and everything closed it, we allowed by the IRS, we can get the form signed, the federal form and tax forms 2 ways. They can do it by Adobe, right? The e-sign it, DocuSign it, or they can do it by a we do have a written form saying, it's blank form as well. We prepared that, and they allowed to us because of what was going on. Pretty much as long as they send us back a written form by email saying, hey, I'll authorize you guys e-file the state and the federal by this date, and my name is so, we can print it or we can just put it in within the system. Okay. Afterwards, it's going to be transmitted into tax layer, the meaning we're going to e-file for them. So that goes accepted or go rejected. There is a paperwork that I prepare if you are the quality reviewer, if you are working with the client on this closing process. It's really easy. The paperwork I prepare is, hey, you're getting money back. This is the steps you're going to do. You owe money. Here's the numbers you have to call, and here's the working plan. If and it's very easy, so the person doesn't be calling us later on. Do we have any questions on this little process? And remember, we're gonna keep going over and over this process a little bit every single time when we have a session, except this weekend, because I think Bruno just want to go straight to it. So you guys can keep remembering what it is. But does anybody have any questions? Nobody's question? There's no problem. Yep. So this is one of the few ways. This is actually one of the ways we're going to be doing it. Okay. So the good news is for those that requested for a laptop. So if you have requested a laptop, you have a laptop with the Windows set up. There's the window kit's going to be set up. This is going to be one of the laptops that you guys use for VITA. We just updated a few things and cleaned up the memory. The laptop is going to be set up so you guys can use the tax layer on the cloud. If you got, so you guys can use the new tax layer. We can drop it off, and I will talk to each one individual. We can drop it off between December 30th, or you can pick it up to January 11th. Okay. Your laptop does include several things. You're gonna have, starting January to the end of April, you will have your own Montgomery County volunteer email, okay? Because we want to make sure every time you go online, you be using our VPN. So you'll be protected using the county VPN. You can go anywhere online, but you'll be using that VPN. And that was one of the other ways, because you got to be employee, but the other ways we found out with the volunteers. And a lot of you guys have been volunteering for us for years, or this is your second year or more. So we'll be able to put you on the volunteer system, okay, for the VPN. So you receive a laptop. The laptop will have a kit, which you have the webcam, and you also will have your headphones with you. You have the whole setup with, the calculator and all the parts that you needed. You also receive, not this week, but next week, for those of you that still want it or don't want it, but just let me know. The 42 hours is going to start being forwarded to your home address, okay? Do you have to sign your paperwork? I've been doing the work in the background, so the paperwork you guys are going to do is very little, just a signature or two. Next week, you're going to start receiving email from Diana Day. She works with our office, and she's the one who's going to start setting up, working to set up your own private email. The reason we're doing the email is just in case you're working on a case and you have additional questions to a client, or you have some additional questions, and you can email them as well. In case you do have to call somebody, you have to use, we also will give you the Google line if you want to use it. But if you call anyone from your cell phone or your private number, you put *67. As some of you guys know or may not know, you use *67 before you call somebody, and that will show unavailable, or just show a local number, but that will not show your personal number. Okay. Second thing we able to do now, we are given the go ahead to get each one of you will have a code for the language line. Meaning, John, if you have somebody that speaks Chinese, you can call the language line and they'll translate for you. Same thing with Barbara. She gets somebody who speaks Spanish. Chai, get somebody who speaks Russian or Portuguese. You just call the language line. They would translate for you. We got the go ahead and the green light for you guys to start using from January to the end of April. It's really cool. You can call them anytime, and it's just pretty much it's just a personal translator. I think Chai and other people use it as well. So the people that have used it, I have, because we started using a little bit in the beginning of the year, and people like it really much because it's just it's just a personal translator. How long is the process? The process is really depends on the preparer. One thing that we saw doing from June to October, it's the intake. If we have a strong intake, and the taxpayer gave all the information, will not take that long. But it still takes 2 or 3 days through going through the whole process. And that's the main thing we tell people when we do the appointments. It's not like it was before. It takes a little longer. But one thing I've been doing it, this is off season, and that's the great thing, that our software is in the cloud. I've been uploading as many IEN number database from Montgomery County as I could and as I can find into our system. And also everybody that has ever been to our being client to us, VITA has the whole, if you go be a client at different VITA sites, there is the worldwide, you can get their name, but a lot of I was looking at, I think like over 45% of people, they don't want to share the information with the other VITA programs. So one thing I did, I got all the information on everybody from all the sites, and I put it on one site. So for example, if you start a tax return or put somebody's Social Security, you may pop up all the information really quick, like their kids, where they live, where they worked last year. And that's one thing I put as much information as possible and available. I had it on the system, so it'd be a little easy for everybody. Okay. Any questions through this process? And if you're shy, you can just ask a question, normal question, instead of just calling out. Okay. But yeah, if you have any questions, please just ask away. All right. So yeah, laptops will be given out December 30th to January 11th. I already have a list. Like I said, you should be getting email starting this week from me. I just want to double check a few things. I have to, there's the paperwork from the county, because we give you a county back laptop. I was really amazed when this all happening, because we also purchased new laptops. Those little VITA laptops that we use those cost $1,000. I was really amazed. I was asking them if I could just go to eBay or Amazon to buy a used one. They have some type of deal with Lano, IBM, and that's why they cost $1,000 plus all their software perpetuity it is in there from the county to Microsoft. So I was really amazed those things would cost $1,000. Like, I can't believe it. But so basic reminder, guys. Everybody, please send it to me, the 13615 if you already done it. Thank you. All right. A lot of people in this group, they always go to the higher than the basics. So if you want to keep going higher, go for basic, advanced. HSA is part of the advanced now. So Bruno's going to talk a little more about it. Schedule forms, anything being training certified is going to be online. We have new forms this year as well. We have a form for Schedule C, and that's why we're going to have a Schedule C session. Because there's a lot of changes with the Schedule C, especially from people working from home. Alrighty. So everybody should be able, if you haven't gone to Link and Learn, you can go log into Link and Learn, and it's live. You can go ahead and take the new exam, right? Quick reminder, if you are taking the exam, please use the practice lab. All right, practice lab. The password's right there, Train Pro Web. Is the password, Train Pro Web. The reason is, once you do the problems on practice lab, you're gonna get the answer. You're gonna get all the answers as long as you follow. Even if you made a quick mistake on something, you you will get the answer on it. Okay. So the people I seen in the past didn't pass it because they didn't use the practice lab. Just use the practice lab. You get there. Right. Alrighty. So what are the changes? Well, there's not really much change. You know, if you're gonna have a low gross income, you know, here's it is. Here's the same thing from, it's just $200 more from single. It's 12,400. If you're 65 or older, 14,050. Married filing jointly, you know, under 65 for both spouse, 65 or older, 65 or older for both spouse. Okay. Married filing separately. Please remember to look, $5. Married filing separately, $5. All right. If your gross income was at least $5, so somebody said they make a couple thousand, they filing separately, they better do the tax return. Right. Had a household under 65, still 18,650, just went up a little bit. 65 or older, 20,300. Qualifying widow, 24,800. 65 or older, it's going to be 26,100. Okay, just went up, I think, by $200 on a few things, and a few hundreds on a few. As we all know, and this is the talk, and there's things going on, and with Congress, this may be the last year for this, or things may change it. If anything changes, I'll send you straight away. But this may be the last year for this tax return, or may not. We'll see it. But there's definitely going to be changes to the tax law coming next year. All right. So the attorney minimum tax, that's out of scope. You got to make some good money, which is way out of scope for us. Household employment taxes. If you have a maid living with you on taxes, you know, you're supposed to give her that W-2, and a lot of people, some of the clients we see, they don't do that, but you know, that's between them. Social Security, Medicare taxes on tips, they didn't report it. We want to make sure they can report it. You know, that's people who self-employ. And one of the few changes, HSA, as I told you, it's now port. Remember, you had to do a separate HSA little exam. Now it's actually port of the advanced exam, HSA. Okay. One thing too that has changed. All right. Have you guys heard of cryptocurrency?
Yes.
All right. Cryptocurrency, now it's part of VITA. When we go over it's actually it's on the 1040 now. It's actually really up ahead on 1040. I think it's on one of it's one of the top lines. So there's a certain percent that will do it, and there's a certain percentage will not do it. Once again, we'll go over more on Saturday. Okay. But that's really interesting to decide to let us do a little bit part about it. There is some self-employment tax. Okay, same thing. If you work self-employment and you make at least $400, you have to put in your tax return the self-employment tax, which is really funny because if you're a business, and they're only gonna give you the form if you make $600 or more. So, all right, 1095A, we'll go over it, the parts of it, and the advance payments of the health coverage tax. Okay. Not really much difference. There is the changes that we're gonna go over for the CARES Act. You probably hear my dog in the background. That's why I left her upstairs. All right. So who should file? Can somebody tell me who should file taxes with VITA? Nobody?
I guess anybody.
Go ahead, Chai.
Citizens with green cards, or those who with what's that? Present limit what's that? Legal president in states, you need to file.
Yes.
You have-
Anybody can file, guys. Remember that. Even if they say they're below the standards or anything, everybody should file because maybe they'll be able to receive some credit. There's a child tax credit or an income tax credit. There's additional child tax credit. Maybe even though they're below the standard, the filing standard, they might receive some money that were withheld. So the main question for VITA should be everybody should receive it. All right. So few things why this year. All right. I have here in the paperwork. Let me get these out of here. All right. So some of you guys were able to receive the recovery rebate credit, which is the EIP payment. Some of you guys received that from Uncle Sam from the government. Some people didn't receive it. Some people received, but the amount was wrong. Okay. And I'll go over this part later on because I haven't. That's one of the things everybody should file, especially if you did not receive it. If people did not receive the EIP payment during this season, when they file taxes, they're going to receive the money. Okay. Maybe you're getting some money from American Opportunity Credit. Maybe there's some money from the premium tax credit or an income tax credit, the additional child tax credit, or anything that was maybe they overpay any money that's withheld from them, right? All right. Chai, can you tell me a little what's the qualifying widow with the dependent?
Qualified widow was qualified widow is if the husband if one died in 2 years. First year you okay. For instance, someone died in 2018. So in 2019 and 2020 can be a qualified widow if they have not remarried.
Yes. So a qualifying widow, it's got to be within the 2-year time period after the spouse have died, and they must have dependent children. As long as she didn't remarry, she has dependent children. She got to have dependent children. She can be a qualifying widow for 2 years. Okay. Afterwards, if the children are still her dependents, she can be head of household. But for the 2 years, she can do that. Quick question for all you guys. A single person, okay, and they got married on December 31st. December 31st, they get married. Are they gonna file? What's their status when they file the taxes?
Married.
What is it, John?
Married.
Yes, married filing jointly. Remember that. It doesn't matter how you begun the year. It matters how you end the year. Okay. So another case I want to ask you guys about and talk a little bit about it. Okay. Jane Doe and John Doe are married. Okay. They're married. They're a normal married family. They live in the same house for years. The address, the kids live with them. John Doe leaves on May. He leaves the household. He leaves the address. Jane stays and still in the house. She still takes care of the kids, still pays for everything else. The kids been living in the same household with her. She's the main person. Okay. John is gone. He doesn't live there anymore, right? He left from May. In the end of the year, which status can she file for?
Single.
Okay, somebody say single.
Well, head of the household if there's a child.
Okay, somebody say head of household if there's child. Which, what else you guys think?
Oh, sorry, head of household, not single.
Yes.
Well, wait, he just left, but they're still married, right?
Yes.
So she's found married, filing
6 months.
separately?
Yeah, they could do married filers separately.
Okay. So that's correct. They still married. They never separated. She left from May. He left from May. She's still with the kids and everything else. Yes, that's true. They can do married filing separately if she chooses. But if a married couple living together and for the last 6 months, the married couple who has a kid, remember that they got to have a kid, all right? they can file the head of household because of that. And so here's another scenario that happened with somebody that was in the morning group. So Barbara, the same scenario, okay? But instead of the husband was gone for years, she been filing for head of household, still married, never separated. But on that tax year, the husband came back on September and has been staying with her ever since. How would she file for that year now?
Married files joint.
Okay.
Yeah, because she doesn't get the head of household if he's back.
Okay.
Mhm.
Everybody agree? Correct. She can file for married filing jointly or married filing separately. Sadly, her husband that had came back and lived with her in the same address using the same information, he filed married filing separately. And she was very adamant that she files head of household as she did all the previous years so she could get a higher earned income tax credit and all the other credits. Sadly, he came back, so it's in the last 6 months, and they can file married filing jointly, but if you did married filing separately, he has to change it, and they have to redone all the time. Okay. So one thing that can change this also status as well for all the status, a single person can file single, but now it's the last few years it's been better. When we get a rejection note, a single person cannot be single because they were married and somewhere the other spouse didn't marry filing separately. Okay, so once that happens, the person that's trying to file single, they have to do the same thing as married filing separately. Because as we know, when you file married filing separately, what are the few informations that they need to do married filing separately?
Need the social security number of the other person.
Yes. First name, last name, social security, and the date of birth, so they can put it in the system. Yes. So when that happens, and the other spouse does her tax return, it's gonna already be flagged in the system. So that does happen. We do have a few rejects like that because of that as well. People try to do a fast one. Questions? Nope. All right. So let's do a quick scenario here. John is 33. He's in his third year of college working towards his degree in chemical engineering. Josh's son, Brendan, is 4 years old and lives with him all year. Since Brendan's mother passed away 3 years ago, Josh's mother, Alicia, helps taking care of Brendan while Josh in collections help him with some of the expenses. All right. It's no more than half of the cost of the support. All right. What's the correct filing status for Josh? What do you guys think?
Head of the household.
Yeah, head of household. Brandon's mother. Yeah, head of household.
Okay. Any other objections?
Yeah, that's a powerhouse.
Okay. That one is correct. It was a head of household. So remember, just really quick thinking about things, because these scenarios do come up, and then people start questioning you, but it's like, no, it's within the guidelines. Okay. All right. So as we know, the personal dependency exemptions have been repealed. It started in January 1st, 2018, and will end on December 31st, 2025. I think it's gonna end of this year, and the exemptions are gonna come back, because if you look in the system, when the system does it, it says 0, 0. It hasn't really been repealed. It's just the summary of it's $0 now. Okay. So that's one thing I do believe is going to change, the personal dependency exceptions.
Hey, Eddie, I have a question.
Go for it.
Do you think tax day is going to be April 15th this next year?
I don't know. Depends on our new Secretary of Treasury. Janet, I don't. It gonna depends on her. Depends what a mess things are gonna be.
Okay.
Because the individuals that work for the federal government, I believe, because ours was it because the governor stopped it. But I believe your Social Security taxes were not withheld between September to the end of the year. And people that also work in some small business, because it was up to the small business owners to decide it. It's a lot of people that their federal taxes were not withheld since September to now. And I know the talk is they're gonna either something's gonna pass by the end of January to make sure those people don't have to pay between the $3,000, $4,000 back. Yeah.
I see. So that might delay tax day, you're saying, maybe.
Yeah, that would delay. There's other things too that it's gonna be delayed as well. If there's another stimulus, they're gonna try to pass by the end. There's so many things.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
But trust me, if there's any changes, you guys gonna know about it.
Thanks.
All right, so let's go tax return. All right, quick polling question. Since we all, we did taxes and all. So which of the following is the correct formula for calculating your tax return? All right. So if somebody just asks you, because I hear all the time people asking you guys, hey, how do you calculate the tax income for me? Well, is it A? Is it gross income minus the exclusion, adjustments, and the itemized deductions? Is it B, which is the gross income minus the adjustments equals adjustments gross income minus greater O, which is the itemized deductions and deduction? And if you have a business, the QBI, the qualified business income, is it C, gross income minus the standard deduction, or is it D, adjust gross income minus adjustments and itemized deductions? What do you think is the crazy calculation here to get somebody's calculation for their taxable income?
It's B.
B.
All right, so we got B and we got D. Anybody want to add in? All right. So what do you guys think? B or D?
B.
I go for B.
B? Yes, it is B.
B is a boy, right?
Yes. So the calculation is really easy. It's all income from whatever source you have, less the exclusions from your gross income. All right. So that becomes your gross income. After your gross income, it's less the deductions from the adjusted gross income. Becomes later on. Don't forget the charitable contributions. If you did a standard deduction or any other one, this is a new provision. They have it, and I'll talk to you about it. It's before the AGI now. You can give up to $300 to a charitable contribution, and it's gonna deduct your AGI before the line, before the itemization. And you can put also in the itemized deduction. Yep. Then it would be AGI, the just gross income, which is itemization or the standard deduction. I believe only 15% of our clients decide to itemize deductions last year. If you have a business, whatever is a qualified business income deduction, that becomes the taxable income. Easiest way is going just here. And you get in this PowerPoint later on. All right. Okay.
Question.
Go ahead.
For that charitable $300, do you need a receipt or?
They didn't really talk about that.
Okay.
They didn't really talk about it. We'll go over a little bit. Because I was reading about it, I was like, shouldn't we get a receipt? It's because of the law. It says, oh, you gave $300 to so and so. Hopefully they'll have a receipt when telling us. But I think for this party, they should have a receipt or some type of proof. But even in the itemized deduction, you could have given whatever money it is for the charitable contributions, and you didn't need to give proof about it. Because that's how it was written in the law. Because before, you had to have the receipts and all. Now you only show the receipts if you're audited or questioned for it. So That's how vague is written on it. Yep. Same thing for the ROA, the law for the ROA that I'm gonna go over and talk to you guys about it, how it's written. It's very loose. So, all right. So, everybody, what's the difference here from the taxable income and non-taxable income? Okay, let's make it easy. Can somebody give me an example of a taxable income?
Wage.
Okay. Can you give me an example of non-taxable income?
Sometimes Social Security.
Okay, yeah. Some part of it, yeah. Some type, yep. Dividends,
EIP, non-taxable.
Yep. All right. And that goes back to the earned income, you earn it. Unearned income is income that you receive it. It's not earned part of it. Okay. So that will go under the dividends part. Okay. So are the following considered taxable or non-taxable? Well, we know cash income is, what do you guys think? Taxable or non-taxable?
Taxable.
Okay. When the people got their couple $1,000s for the federal income tax returns, is that going to be taxable next year?
No.
Depends.
No.
If they itemize,
If they itemize, yeah, they got to put that part, but
Yeah.
mostly not.
This is federal income tax refund, right?
Yes,
Not
the
state.
federal. It's not.
Mhm.
All right,
Federal-
go ahead. You're about to say something.
Federal income tax refund will not include as the income, right?
No.
Right. Only the
That-
state, it depends.
Yeah, only when you itemize, you got to put how much you put it for the itemization. Yes. Debt forgiven on a credit card.
yes.
Sadly, that has to go on your taxes, which is on Form 1099-C for your credit card. 1099-C. I don't think this year we will see it, but I do believe next year we're definitely going to see a lot. Unemployment compensation, is that taxable or non-taxable?
Taxable.
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 Okay, so here's a little thing about it too, about this unemployment. All right. So I'm gonna give you a case scenario. Individual work from January to March. Okay. Individual make 25,000. Okay. The individual lost his job late March. I believe was $600. Everybody was getting, the government was adding to it.
Mhm.
Okay. Maryland has unemployment. Maryland, I think, is between 200 to 300 or 400, close to it. Depends how much you have in, how much you have and towards that insurance, or how much, employer had, how much you work on it. So just think about it. So the individual already made 25 through March. Then he was unemployed for, let's see April. So April to October, he was unemployed. Okay, but I remember he stops. When did he stop? August, the $600.
Right, August.
August. Then they had the extra 400. Or yeah, the extra money that for a month. So just think about it. Somebody that from the full 4 months, right? Each week he was getting the $600 plus maybe, let's see, he maxed out. So he had another 400 from the state because he worked so much and the employer did the right thing. He made sure about it. So he was getting $1,000 for every week for 4 months. Due to the consequence from COVID and everything was going on, he or she probably forego the taxes on it. Okay. Individual got a job on October, a full-time job. So the individual probably has another $20,000, $20,000 or $15,000 on top of it. So just think about it, $25,000, whatever taxes were taken out from that job that he did in the beginning of the year. All that money that he received, $1,000 from unemployment compensation for 4 months weekly, $1,000. No taxes were taken out, plus whatever money taxes were taken out from that $15,000. But as we know, the first $10,000 that you receive they take very little taxes because, it's taxes incremented by, as more and more money you make. Okay. Do you think the individual is going to be pissed when he does his tax return or not?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And Sally, I just want you guys to be ready when that happens. Okay. Because I was just doing that calculation, and I was sharing with the people on Community Action and the other agencies, and that's gonna happen. Because some people, when they're getting the unemployment, a lot of things were going wrong, and you didn't know when you're gonna have a job or not, and all those bills coming due, so you have a lot of taxes were not taken out. So it's gonna be kind of scary for some people. Plus, here's the triple whammy, okay? If they were working for a place, remember, they were working for a place between October to from October to the end of the year that did not withhold the Social Security taxes that the individual has to pay back next year. So that's a triple whammy, okay? Because right now everything's deferred. That means you have to pay on this upcoming tax season. So that's a triple whammy for somebody. So I hope not, but I think we're gonna see very big astronomical people owning a lot of money for upcoming season. Okay.
You think Congress is going to fix that?
What'd you say, John?
You think Congress is going to fix that?
I hope so, because it's gonna be the unemployment compensation. That was a one-on-one with the person going on. But at least for the Social Security withheld taxes, they should forgive.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people. This state was. Some states, they say, yeah, we definitely gonna do it. This Maryland is in a couple of the East Coast state, and the West Coast said no, we're not gonna do that because the person's gonna own taxes. But other states is just allow that to happen, and other business as well. So, it's you got a little bit of money, but in the end of the day, in the end of the year, when you do taxes, you gotta pay that back. So,
Mm-hmm.
I hope so. The talk is Congress will let it stay, so that'll be good and for other people for like us that was never taken out of our taxes were withheld as it was normally. So that means we'll get a credit of $3,000 or $4,000. So that's another thing they gotta put it in tax return. That's gonna be crazy. So yeah. We'll see. We're just doing taxes as it is right now. So we'll see whatever comes down the line. Interest from the U.S. Treasury obligations. Is that taxable or non-taxable on the federal return?
I think it's non-taxable.
Yes, non-taxable from the federal. Mm-hmm. Social Security benefits.
Depends.
Depends.
Yes.
Okay. That's true. Depends how much they make it. I believe it's between 20 to 33,000. Less than that. If you make less than that, it's non-tax. And you have Social Security, becomes non-taxable. If you start making more than that, if you start working, you start making more than that, plus Social Security becomes part of it becomes taxable. And if you keep, if he makes a lot of money and you still retire, 50% of it is taxable. Yep. SSI. Do you think SSI is taxable?
Non-taxable.
Okay. What about if it was SSDI?
Depends on the age.
Okay. So here's the thing about it. Anytime anybody says the supplements SSI is never taxable. Okay. SSDI is taxable because depends too. Depends the amount of money you receive. The reason is we need to put the SSDI on it is if somebody tells you, hey, I'm disabled, I'm still working, but I'm getting disability. Like, okay, how much money are you receiving? They're like, oh, it's SSI. It's like, well, tell me how much money you're receiving. Anybody says they're receiving SSI, it's above $800, That's a lie. It's a SSDI. SSI right now it's 782 or 796. I think it might went up because of COLA, but it's anybody to receive SSDI and say they're making 1,000, anything above 1,000, it's SSDI. So remember that. So we need then we need their 1099 SSA. Okay. Because that has happened a few times before. And I had had a talk with them, and after I took a look at it, it was SSDI. I used to work for the state doing those SSI cases for this the state of Maryland, the disability state. So there is a difference. Anybody makes SSI is more a supplement income for people that never work in their life, and something's going on, they retire, never work, and don't have enough on their insurance, on their Social Security to get that money. Because when you work in the W-2, God forbids anything happen to you, you can log on to ssa.gov and look at it. It will give you the monetary amount you receive monthly. If God forbid anything happens to you and you're disabled, that's the amount of money you're going to receive every month to your retirement age. Okay, but that's also true. You can, if you're receiving Social Security disability, you can work. It's kind of weird because for you to go through that whole process, they tell you don't work. But once you get it, the government will send you a letter, say, if you want to work 10 hours this week, 20 hours, go right ahead. So, and that's why a lot of people lost their case, because they would meet somebody that they had disability and working, and they're like, oh, I'm doing the case. And I was like, no, you can't work whatsoever. Okay. So retirement age. Oh, here you go. I found out. So if you're filing your tax return as individual, okay, if you make between 20, and you also work, okay, if you make anything above between 25,000 to $34,000, whatever Social Security you receive, 50% is going to be taxable. If you're a single person, you retire and you have another job and you make more than $34,000, 85% of your Social Security is taxable. Okay. I'll send you guys this form as well. And same thing if you're a joint person. If both you and your spouse are retired, and you guys, even after your retirement age, you're working, if you guys make between 32,000 to 44,000 combined, that's your work income, not counting Social Security or any other income you may have. Anything above that, 50% of your Social Security is taxable. If you both also retirement age and you working, have other income, and if you make above 44,000, not counting Social Security, 85% of your Social Security becomes taxable. Okay, and that's the reason we always ask anybody to give us their Social Security income. The benefits. Okay, so we can do that calculation, because I've done tax return and people they're like, oh, I get Social Security, I don't have to pay for it, and they're working and they're making $30,000, $40,000 on as contractors. Like, when I add the Social Security, 85% of it is taxable, and they're not happy about it. So I just gotta let you know about the law. Yeah. VA benefits, is that taxable or non-taxable? Guys, VA benefits, are taxable or non-taxable?
Non-tax?
No, VA benefits never taxable. Whatever you receive from the armed service or VA benefits, anything whatsoever, it's non-taxable. Remember that. Judy duty fees. Yes, Judy duty.
Yeah.
I did Judy duty. Man, that was so long ago. I think I got like $25, and it was like, I'm so glad I didn't get the second case. Second case was a murder case, and the other case was just a fender bender. The case that they took me, I was so happy after that. It's like, no, because the other case took a while. Severance pay.
Yes.
Yes. Depends on the company you are, but severance pay is taxable, non-taxable. Okay. All right. So these reports of taxable income, right? And on the line on the red, those where you guys can find it on the 4012. Wages, salaries, tips reported on the W-2. It's going to be on page D4 on your 4012. Interest income, page D7. Dividend income, it can be an ordinary dividends and qualified dividends. All right. How'd you guys know? How would you know if it's an ordinary dividends and qualified dividends? Well, you will come from your mutual fund company or the company that you're doing investments on. They will know about it better than you do. Okay. Because sometimes people start arguing with me saying it's ordinary, this dividends, all this should be qualified. I was like, oh, you got to have a talk to whoever is your mutual fund or the person doing investments. Okay. State and local refunds, it's going to be on the form 1099G. So remember the state and local refunds on form 1099Gs. Alimony, I don't know if you guys remember from last year, but the alimony is somebody was here and they left. Alimony is please, none of you guys do that, but do not be confused with child support. Alimony is going back to as long as the alimony was completed by December 31st, 2018. So December 31st, 2018, because of the tax law that passed in 2017. So anything from December 31st, 2018 and early on set date, anything later than December 31st, 2018, what do you think happens to that income they receive?
It's
Taxable.
the recipient is I think it's non-taxable to the recipient, isn't it?
It's non-taxable to the recipient. They're getting, they don't have to worry about that. They don't have to tell the government how many $1 million, a couple $1,000 they're receiving a month.
But it's non-deductible for the
Non-deductible. So whoever's paying that couple $1 million a year is probably very pissed because they cannot put that on the tax return. Okay. Or a couple $1,000, but it's the law. Anything, if it was signed, remember, it had to be signed and executed, meaning the judge had to sign it December 31st, 2018. If the judge signed it January 2nd, 2019, too bad, too sad. There's nothing they can do. They cannot put there in the tax return. Okay.
Suppose it was a voluntary payment.
Meaning for
that the husband and spouse agreed, the payer.
Is there any paperwork to back it up in case the other spouse may neglect on it?
If they had an agreement that I'm going to pay this, or they maybe went to a mediator.
Yeah. As long as they sign it and
okay.
was done by a mediator by December 31st, 2018. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's the magic date, December 31st, 2018. Yes. Some people do. It's better to go to a mediator than going through the whole process with a judge. Yep. Mm-hmm. IRA distributions. Page D32, the IRA distribution. Also, remember to take a look at the distribution code on the 1099-R. I think some of you had it. I had it, even when we did quality review. Double check the code. Sometimes people receive it because, they receive it. They say they took the money out and voluntary, and there's a different code there. There's people that says they receive it due to another, because of their spouse. There's supposed to be a certain code, and there's a code 7. Just double check with them because sometimes there's errors there, and those errors, there's nothing on their own, but just maybe an error from the company itself, and those errors can be a couple $1,000s on taxes. They, if they have the right code, that can save them a lot of money. And we always, you always double check. It's like, there's this code for, is it because, your spouse had it, or, there's a one because somebody died and you're, somebody in your family, that's why you took it out. So I always want to double check on it to make sure the code is with the amount of money they took it out. Mm-hmm. And all those codes on page D32. Mm-hmm. Pension and annuity, same thing on 1099-R. Unemployment, all right. 1099-G, we're gonna see a lot this year, right? Social Security benefits, waste form 10 SSA 1099. The main thing you want to look in form SSA 1099, always remember, is box 5. Whatever is the amount on box 5, and if they took anything out, it's going to be on box 6. Box 6 is there's any taxes without. Okay. Other income. So what is other income? All right. So other income, and this is from the part of it. So right now we have 4 or 5 casinos. So if you gone gambling, I don't know how people can go gambling like this, but if you gone gambling, no judgment if you did. But I passed by Baltimore and the line going towards the casino was, it's kind of crazy. I was like, how can you go during this time? But if you gone gambling, you're gonna get a W2G. Okay, the gambling winnings, that's a part of income, or even if the lottery now, you're gonna get a little W2G form. Okay. Coverdales, Maryland's been pushing the Coverdales, the 529s, and the ABLE plans for the last 2 years. Sadly, the ABLE is out of scope, but the education or any type of Coverdale you may have, it is within scope as long as you got the Form 1099 Q. Okay. Cancellation debt, it's the 1099-C, I told you. It is type income that you have to put in here as well. One thing that we did this year, and one thing VITA never does, we don't do foreign earned income credit, okay, which is Form 2555, meaning, how long were you in another country? It's 5 or 6 pages, and it's just questions. If you're, how long were in your country, where you live, and because, majority of your income overseas, I think it's 100 something, there's a calculation on it. It's, you don't pay taxes on, but it's 5 or 6 pages. You got to go answer the questions for it, and the system calculates for you. K1. K1 is very easy. If you see a K1, 1120s, 1065s, anything for S Corp or C Corp, we'll take it. We'll take it as long, very easy. There's income, interest, or dividends. 1, 2, 3. It's 1, 2, 3. Each one of those, and that's it. That's the only way we'll take it. You're gonna see some K1s that has everything on it. We're not even touching that. No way. That's too much of a headache. We're not touching that at all. So K1, 1, 2, 3. Income, dividends, or interest. That's it. That's it. We'll take those very easy K1s. Complicated ones, they gotta go to the private guys. Okay, we're not touching it. Okay, but we'll take those, and we did it last year. All right, polling questions. Total income minus adjustments equals AGI. All right. Which of these are not deductible as a deduction for the AGI? Educator expenses, self-employment taxes, property taxes, child support payments, alimony payments, penalty for early withdrawal of savings, medical expenses. What do you guys think? Anybody want to try to shoot it?
It's not a deduction from AGI.
We can do it together. So educator expenses. Do you guys think that's a deduction for that's a adjustment deduction?
Yes.
Okay, great.
I would say alimony paid.
Yeah. Self-employment taxes, is that a adjustment deduction?
It's dependent.
Yeah.
A percent of it, yes.
Yeah.
Property taxes, is that a adjustments on their deduction?
Yeah.
It's an itemized deduction.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, no, it's itemized deduction, because you itemize it when you put your property taxes. Remember that. Child support payment. Oh, go ahead. You had a question.
There's some kind of limit. It's $10,000 or something.
Yeah. It's the even if you put in more than that, the system will not let you go more.
Yeah.
It will stop you. Like it will only, once it's 10,000, that's it. You can put a, even when you play around the system, just try, you'll see it, the system just
Yeah.
only take the 10,000, that's it, once there's the salt limit.
Yeah.
Child supports payment. Is that the adjustment? Is that a,
Mm,
No.
No.
No?
Yeah.
no, child support, no.
Oh,
Child supports never go in your taxes. It's just something you got to do. Mhm. However, what about the alimony payment? You get adjustments.
No.
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 Okay. Have anybody done the alimony here on this group?
no.
Okay. So once you do the alimony, you're gonna ask you who you pay alimony to, how much did you pay alimony for every year, when was the agreement completed, and they want the social security number and the date of birth of the individual. The reason is so when you file the taxes and you see I'm paying $1,000, you know, I'm paying the $20,000 or $30,000 a year, they gonna make sure those $20,000 or $30,000 a year, it's if the individual doesn't put in their tax return, they'll send a letter saying here's the $30,000. How come you didn't put in your tax return? Yeah. So there's 1 or 2 clients we have done that the only thing they receive is alimony that was completed. That was that they it was the agreement was completed way before 2018. So, all right, penalties for early withdrawals of savings.
No.
Okay. Medical expenses.
Yes. It's depend.
7.5% of it's an AGI.
So,
If you itemize.
Itemized, yes. Mhm. There is something new with the Schedule C for the medical, and that's when we'll go over more when we do the advanced part. Mhm. All right. All right. Any questions? Okay. No. All right. So adjustments to income. There's the self-employment tax. There's a percentage of the self-employment tax, but I just want to talk to you a little bit about it. Remember, self-employment tax for anybody that work. Okay. Make anything 400 above as self-employment. Sadly, you gotta pay for your own Social Security and Medicare, which is 15.3%. 12.4% is for Social Security and 2.9% is for Medicare. The self-employment tax, if you look on your W-2, if you look anybody's W-2, the employer pays half of it, you pay the other half. But sadly, when you're working for yourself, you have to pay the whole shebang, which is 15.3. Okay, that's why a lot of people, if you guys look at the cases that we do for the IT, people have IT numbers, their taxes, even if they have kids and all, their taxation is very low. The only thing that's take a big chunk out of them is the self-employment tax. When they own a couple $1,000s, the real taxation amount, it's probably a couple hundred, but the amount they own is a couple $1,000s because of the self-employment tax part of it on top of it. Okay. Penalties on early withdrawals of savings. Okay. So here's the thing about it. Because of the CARE Act, okay, each one of you are allowed to take to April 15 of next year. You're allowed to withdraw up to $1,000 per person from your IRA. Okay, because of one of the things they passed on the CARE Act. Okay, so you're allowed to withdraw up to $1,000 per person taken in 2020 to be exempt from the 10% penalty. Because if you take money out, you got to pay 10%. They forego that. If you have more than $100,000 in each investment account, it's going to be $100,000 per person. Okay, not per account. You can get the special tax and CARES Act treatment for amounts that you've taken out. There are more than 100,000. You can take more than that, but only $100,000 you will not pay the penalty. The lingo says if your family was affected anyway, anyhow, due to COVID. Okay. the language is the subject of the language is very broad. Because all of a sudden, Barbara, I'm going to give you an example about you, okay? Just example. All of a sudden, Barbara and her husband are at home. I don't know if you have kids or not, but you guys need a bigger space. So you guys want to buy a bigger house that have another bigger backyards or more acreage, all right? Since this happened because of COVID, Barbara, because of the lingo on it, can take that $100,000, don't pay no penalty on it, and use that money towards her new house, okay? Or maybe some medical emergency or some type of emergency because of COVID, because the lingo says you were affected because of COVID-19. It can be health-wise, lifestyle-wise, wealth-wise. It's broad the way they did it, okay? So remember, the CARES Act eliminates the 20% automatic withholding that's used as advance payment on the taxes. Because remember, anytime you take the 401k money out, the company will put the 20% on top of it. This 20% withholding is not required when you cash out, withdraw from traditional RA. So you may want to spend the full amount you withdraw because you might own some of the tax money later, right? There's a little part of this as well. For that 100K that you took it out, you got 3 years to put it back. Or you can forego the taxes later on within 3 years. Or you can pay the taxes, percentage now, percent later on. Right now, there is, you passed the House. It's trying to pass the Congress, the Senate. I don't know if it's going to do it. That wants to do other changes to this, to the IRA policy and all. So we'll see what happens, because there's more stuff about this and for lingo, but and limbo as well. But we'll see. So, all right. Any questions? No. Going back to the alimony pay. Remember, if you're divorced, maintenance, as long as it was paperwork is completed by December 31st, 2018, that alimony is got to be part of it. Contributions to the IRA, HSA, I believe 6,500. Also, as well, you may change it if the bill passes the Senate, because that's why I didn't put too much in here, because I do believe this is going to change it. There's a lot of things, like say, there's a bill on limbo right now on Senate about this, so we'll see what happens. Student loan interest, the maximum deduction is $2,500. So remember that somebody gives a form for the student loan interest. Remember, we need what's the interest, not how much you own in student loans. We need how much you want student loan interest. So it can be somebody says 3, 4, 5, 6,000. The max this system will take is 2,500. Okay, so remember, student loan interest, right? Duty. If there's duty income repaid to employer, there's also in the system. Okay. Educated expenses. All right. So anybody who's a teacher, they receive $250,000. I wish $250. They should, for teachers, they should have given way more than that. Just my opinion. The state of Maryland, when we do the state taxes, the state also gives credit to the teachers. I think it's like 200. I think it's 200 as well. It's $200 on their state taxes. The amount can be $500 if it's two, if you're a married couple. But remember, the main thing for the teachers, the only thing you have to ask them, if you're educated, you work 900 hours, and anybody that does a semester as a teacher or as an educator, you definitely work 900 hours per semester. All right, going back, remember Charlie just asked about it, the cash charitable contributions. It's up to $300, okay, if the standard deduction is taken. If you decide to take a standard deduction and you gave $300 to your charitable contribution, this lingos too. They say you only need proof in case you're audited or they request proof of it. How they gonna? Anybody can just put $300 there. You know, are they gonna audit every single person? So it's very broad the way they did it. But yep, if you gave any money to any charitable contribution places and you do the standard deduction, you can take the extra $300. All right. This is for this one is one time only, which is up 2020 because of the CARES Act. All right, standard deduction. So as we talk about the standard deduction, when you're doing, make sure just ask them, somebody come up to you or the client was like, hey, can I do, you know, I gave all this money to the church. I have some deductions and all. I have the medical, the dental. I always ask them, if you're a single person, I always tell them, if you have anything above, you know, whatever's the standard deduction is the 12,400. If you have stuff above the 12,400, go for it. If you don't, it will be not worth it. Same thing for married couple. I always know it was 24,000. So I always tell them, if anything above 24,800, go for it. If you don't, it's not going to be worth it. You know. All right. Taxpayers who cannot take the standard deduction and must itemize it. Remember, filing as married filing separately and spouse itemizing. We don't do non-residents. Okay. We don't do this 1040 NR. We don't do that. But if you have somebody who's married filing separately and they itemize it, even if the other spouse do not want to itemize it, sadly they must itemize it. Okay, even though it would be way less than the standard deduction. All right, that's the sad news for married filing separately. If one of the married filing separately itemize it, the other spouse must do as well. So, standard deduction is higher for a taxpayer or spouse 65 or older, or both of them. Lowest standard deduction is offered for individual who can be claimed as dependent on another person's tax return. Repealed. So this is going back, as Barbara said, the SALT, the $10,000. As we know in the itemization, they're pretty much, they repeal all the 2% limits. You know, you could have put their unreimbursement, employee expenses. We had so many people asking for that form the last 2 years, and when we tell them they can no longer use that form, they were very pissed. Tax preparation fees, other expenses. You know, if you can get a vault at a bank, if you're renting something, because you know those are expenses, you can also put that in your tax return itemization. Yep. There's so many other things. All that's gone. Will this come back? I don't know. I don't think this is never going to come back. Automatization deductions. Anybody has any humongous medical and dental expenses, go ahead and put it in. Mortgage interest, gifts to charity, any other miscellaneous deductions, I always tell them to put it in. If they're able to meet their standard deduction amount or above it, go for it. If they're not, even if they pay mortgage, just think about it. If you're a married couple, it's 24,800. You probably paid your mortgage interest in $3,000 or $4,000, $5,000 on your house alone, but putting everything together, you're still short of $24,000. So, and that's a conversation I always have then. It's like, if you guys have everything together, the mortgage interest, you gave money to church, you spent some more time, you gave tons of stuff to your local goodwill, and plus your income taxes, your state and local income taxes, and you some have out of state, you have some medical and dental, you'll definitely be worth it. If you don't have it, then it's not worth it. Yep.
Does the system factor in the $300 deduction allowable for charities?
It's gonna be, the $300 deduction is gonna be before the line. So if you take the standard deduction, you itemize it for all of suddenly. So for example, right here, the married couple that probably give $200, couple $100 every year to some, nonprofit, charitable place, and they already, they probably get $500 every year. And when they start putting all this together, they realize, oh, we don't even have $20,000 to itemize deduction. Yeah, they should definitely put in $300 towards, the $300 before the line deduction. They should definitely go for it. And I think that's something that we have to remind ourselves to do it when people say
Okay.
we should double check on it. And that's one of the case scenarios they're going to put it in.
Yeah, if it comes up, $1 more than your standard deduction, and you don't factor in the charitable contributions, you might say, okay, let's just let's itemize.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it would be better if don't itemize, just take the standard deduction, add
Take the standard deduction, take the $300 before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, if you have kids and all the other credits. Yeah. Yeah. It's that $300 may save you, definitely save you a little more than you think later on. Yep. Yeah. And that's something, we have to remember to do it, because this is just one time. I don't know how they passed it, but it was part of the paperwork. There's other things part of the paperwork. All right. So once again, any medical dental expenses for taxpayer, spouse, and dependents are calculated. And remember, they're supposed to go in Schedule 8. Any deductible interest is reported in Schedule A. Qualified gifts to charities and Schedule A, casualty and theft loss. It's not really worth it. All the miscellaneous. There's not many things you can do there. Yeah. Remember, state, local, or foreign real estate taxes. All right. I think that's why the president passed this in the law. If you pay any foreign state taxes, you can itemize that. Right. All right. Which of the following expenditures does not produce an itemized deduction? Property taxes, charitable contributions, mortgage interest, self-employment taxes. What do you guys think?
Self-employment taxes.
Self-employment taxes? Any objections to it? That is correct. The self-employment taxes. Tax credit. All right, as we talk about it, the recovery rebate credit. For those that were eligible, they received the EIP payment, economic impact payment, of the $1,200 or $2,400 if you're married. All right, you gotta if you're married, filing jointly, or you're separate and not a dependent of another taxpayer and have a work eligible Social Security number. So if somebody had an ITIN, they were not able to receive it. If you had a spouse and you had a Social Security number and you had a Social Security card, but your spouse had an ITIN number, sadly, you did not receive the economic impact payment. You're not eligible to receive it. Okay. So the gross income was $150,000 for married couples, $112,500 for head of households, and $70,000 for all the eligible individuals. Okay. If anybody was above, kind of close to that, they will receive a 5% reduction in the payments for the amount the AGI is above these amounts. In addition, the qualifying child. What's the age for qualifying child?
17.
Yes. So qualifying child under 17, the qualifying child should have, if not, should have received the extra $500 check. Okay. The parent should receive that. So many people say they met these guidelines. They have not received this money. They don't own no back here. They don't know taxes. They don't nobody nothing. Because people that own child support, they receive nothing because the government took out all this money back. But a lot of individuals say, hey, I don't have nothing withheld against me. I have nothing on taxes on whatsoever. So people that did not receive that money for this year, when they do the tax return, they're able to receive the correct money. or the people that receive maybe a check that was wrong, they're supposed to receive the full amount, they receive half. They're supposed to receive a certain amount, but they receive a different monetary value on it, or any value on it. When you do the tax return, it's going to be corrected. Okay. So, and people that receive it, they're not supposed to receive it, that's going to be corrected. So it's a two-way radio. All right. Because I heard of people that were not supposed to receive it and they receive it. And I heard people that are supposed to receive it, they have not received it. So, all right. Those are going to get corrected next year. So it's going to be also that double whammy. People that got a check. Because remember, a lot of people, maybe remember they were using the information from 2018 or 2019. You know, if you have filed your taxes 2019, they were going to use information. If you haven't filed your taxes yet, they're using information for 2018. So when they heard that, a lot of people, they only file the taxes very late so they can get the, you know, these payments. However, you know, if you're not within this bracket and you receive this money, when you do this tax return, because of this one-time rebate, you have to pay this back. So, you know, maybe 2018, you were making less money. In 2019, you got a bump, you know, and you're making way more money. And because you didn't file your taxes, it was not in the system yet. So that's another thing about it. Some people are going to get their money, and other people are going to have to pay that back. So, right? Earned income tax credit. Charlie, can you tell me what's an earned income tax credit?
If you make money less than a certain limit, then you'll get extra credit back. And then it depends on the family size. You can get very earned income credit.
Okay. Anybody want to add a little bit to it? Oh. No one?
I think you have to have children, right? Qualifying
You
children
can have children, or
or qualifying person.
you gotta have, you know, a qualifying person. You can have children, or you can have no children.
Okay.
Mhm. Anybody else wants to add to it? No. Earned income. This question is tricky because even though stuff that we know in our heads, we do all the time in doing the tax return. Thank you, John and Charlie, to answer that. Some people are like, no, I don't want to answer this. skip. So, so the earned income tax credit, it's a refundable credit. You know, it's by the amount you earn. Remember, that's the part of it, earn. So you get your money back. It's refundable. You know, depends on the amount of work. There's a certain amount of income you can make it. Somebody asked in the chat here. Yes. So, Mutali, you had a question. You have to be a U.S. citizen, right? For you to receive, not a U.S. citizen, pretty much, but you gotta have a Social Security card that says eligible to work. Okay, you gotta have a Social Security card that says that's normal, says eligible to work. If the Social Security card says unable to work, or they just got a Social Security card because something else happened, they're unable to. If you have a IT number, okay, if you're a parent and you have a IT number, okay, remember the IT number, yeah, the IT number starts with a 9. Okay, IT number always starts with a 9. So somebody says I have IT and you give her 7, it becomes a 7 and 8. They're lying to you. They're fibbing because the IT number always starts with a 9. And the letter they receive from the Social Security office, from the RS, my apologies, it's a green letter. Okay, so you always start with a 9. It's green letter. If they have it, even though their kids are born in the United States, they're not able to receive an earned income tax credit. Okay, you must have a Social Security card, a working Social Security card. What's they say? Eligible working Social Security card. Okay, so this is how we go earning income tax credit. Let me see. Do I have it here? Yeah, here we go. It's a computation. So once again, ITINs, a lot of people in the tax, in the Spanish community, they call it tax ID. So somebody say, I have a tax ID, but I don't have a Social Security. That's the ITIN, which is the independent tax identification number. Okay. The difference from the ITINs and the ATINs is the adoption taxation identification number. So for example, if Mutali goes get married and all of a sudden he wants to go maybe to Brazil, Mexico, or Russia, or somewhere in China to adopt a kid, as you know, it takes a while. You know, there's a lot of things they have to do through it. So you can go to the State Department and to the IRS, the Social Security office, pretty much, and just let them know it's like, yeah, I'm going to adopt a kid. Here's the information. I need a temporary number to do the taxes, you know, while I go through this whole process. So they will give you your adopting child the ATIN number, which is temporary for 1 year or two, to bring them back to the States, and you know, you put out the information, he gets his Social Security number. Okay, but if you these individuals that have this ITIN and ATIN number, they unable to receive. Those are the parent. I know this is the parent and this is the kid, but they are unable to receive earned income tax credit. Okay. Taxpayer must have a valid Social Security number by the due date of the return to claim. Going back again, and this was a highway bill that was passed, gosh, in 2014. Highway bill. Just look at the different president during that time, different Congress, you know. But it was a highway bill that was passed. In that highway bill, somebody wrote in that for anybody that has a working Social Security number and trying to get their earned income tax credit, they must have a valid Social Security by the due date of reclaiming the credit. Meaning, it's got to be on that year. It's got to be within that year they're doing it. Okay, somebody all of a sudden, and we ourselves, we won't have problems with it, but it's got to be for the year they're doing it, the year they're doing the tax return. They got to have it. Okay, you guys don't have problems with it. We had it when we did the past years, because somebody was like, "Oh, I want to do my 3 or 4 previous tax years," and when we look at after that bill passed in 2014, we had to start looking at when they received the Social Security card. Because before, you could have received a Social Security card in 2019, and all you guys here could have gone back and was like, you know what? I want to amend my tax return. I want to take the IT number out and put the Social Security number now because I have it. Well, the law is you can only receive it as your earned income tax credit on the year that you received the Social Security number, and you cannot go back. Okay, you only can go forward. So some people were pissed when that happened, but it's the law. You got to change it. Okay. So here's the thing about it. So you have 1 kid, your neighbor across the street has 2, and your neighbor next door has 3. All you guys make the same income, but the only difference is the kids. You have 1 kid, the max credit that you can receive, this is the max, all right? It's not always going to be this because it's a calculation by the amount of income that you have. It can be $3,584. With the your neighbor across the street that has the 2 kids, it's going to be $5,920. And your next door neighbor that has the 3 kids has $6,660. Those are the max, okay? If you had no kid, the max you could receive is $538, which is not really much, but it's at least something, okay? Earned income tax credit for us, we deal with 3 earned income tax credit. We deal with the federal level, we deal with the state level, and we deal with the works family supplement income. Pretty much is the county level for earned income tax credit. Whatever is the amount that the person receives on the federal amount of the earned income tax credit, the state will give them 28%, whatever it is the amount they're receiving the earned income tax credit. You can bid up to this amount, whatever amount it is, the state will give them 28%. Montgomery County will match 100%, whatever is the amount that the state will give it to them. Okay, so always remember, we deal with 3 earned income tax credit, and in the state level, when we do the state class, we'll go more into detail into it. Okay, but they put in legislation now to make sure the state earned income tax credit goes a little higher. I think they're trying to do like 30%, whatever, 30% of your federal. Okay, so whatever is the federal they receive on the earned income tax credit, can makes a difference on the state taxes and to receive the check from the county as well. So I don't know if you ever heard it, but they call Christmas in July. I don't know. The reason they call this credit Christmas in July from Montgomery County is because all of a sudden between July and October, you get a check that can be $200, $400, or sometimes even, $1,000, $500. It really depends on it. Meaning they're getting the earned income tax credit for the county level. They receive that check. The third check, it gets mailed to them. They receive it between July and October. And it's a check they get from the Maryland state controllers. Okay, and the controller paid it out, then the county pays them back afterwards. Okay, so just remember that for the earned income tax credit. The main criteria for the earned income tax credit, if you have children, they got to be a qualifying dependent. They got to live with you, okay, for at least 6 months, and you got to be the person that has to pay for everything, more than 50%, okay, during those times. Okay. Quick question. I don't know if some of you read it here. What if a person has 4, 5, 6, or 7 kids? Will they get more credit than a person that has 3 kids, or it doesn't matter? Once you have 3 kids, 4, 5, 6, 7, the credits pay the same.
Credit's the same.
Credit is the same, correct. So remember, the credit maxes out, the kids max out after 3. 3 or more, okay? And here goes to the other thing. People will try to shop their kids. I would not advise them to do that, because if you do that, before it used to be 2 years, 5 years, and 10 years, meaning you get a penalty for 2 years, you will get a penalty for 5 years, and the more harsh one is 10 years. Since 2014, the 5 years is gone. You mess up, you say it wasn't your fault or anything else, okay, you get the 2 years. You mess up second time and they catch you, it's 10 years. Meaning for 10 years, you cannot, even if you have kids, you cannot use the parent, cannot receive the earned income tax credit, all right? And that's not only for the earned income tax credit, that's also for the child tax credit, the additional child tax credit, if they think there's fraud on it. So maybe somebody shop your kid and you use it because you need, you wanted a couple $1,000s. Well, and that was the second time you got caught, and that was, the first time was really big, it was big fraud, and they gave you the 10 years. That means you, within 10 years, if you have 2, 3, or 4 kids, you cannot get this credit. So you screwing the person screwing themselves for this max credit for, all those years they have 3 or more kids. So you hear, when, that's why we make sure the dependents is their dependents. And, if you think something is a little wrong on it, you can definitely just let them know. It's like, hey, remember, this, and once you talk to them about the fraud, people, they're trying to do something crazy. They will come honest with you.
Are both parties penalized?
Yes, both parties penalized. So the person that wants to get a couple $1,000s, and the mom or the dad or uncle or godfather, whoever, tried to shop the kids around. And, if it is somebody in the family that did it without the person's knowledge, then, they're going to do through it the whole process. But if it is somebody that has done repeatedly with different kids, yeah. So that's, they'll probably get the harshest one, the 10 years. It's not worth it. For a couple $1,000s, how much money you're going to lose in the future, it's not worth it.
So how do you ask them if they have a violation?
We'll go over. There's the form in the end. Yep.
Oh, okay, thank you.
So going back again, the earned income computation is based on the filing status, number of qualifying children, earned income, and the AGI. Okay. Certain individuals with no children may also qualify, but the income got to be very low. Okay. For some individuals, I see that so many times. People with their tax return, they're like, "Oh man, last year I got $10,000." Well, yeah, your kids were under 17. Your daughter that was college was staying with you, and all these other things. And your kids are no longer under 17. They're older now. They're 18. And the daughter that was staying with you graduated and she's out. So that's why from 10,000, now you own 4,000. So it's one of those talks we always try to have with the tax, with the client about it. Okay. But here's the main thing. This tax credit is only available to taxpayers who do not earn high incomes. So the max is 56,600 something, 28 for the earned income tax credit. If you have 3 kids, that's the max. How much money you can make it to receive earned income tax credit if you have 3 kids or more. Okay. Child dependent care. So here's the child dependent care. Okay. Teacher self-care. I'll go back to that. That's the very form everybody remembers. You're probably going to do an exam. You're going to see all the time. It's form 2441. Okay. You only receive $3,000 max per kid, and the max you can receive $6,000. So you're paying the babysitter, or you're paying the, child care $10,000, and you have 2 kids. It's only $3,000 per kid. Okay. It's the maximum expenses amount. $3,000 for one qualifying person, $6,000, 2 or more. $6,000 the max. Okay, it's $3,000 per kid. Okay, it can be kid, it can be your elderly parent as well. Okay, the main thing is also how much money you receive. The credits, it's a credit. Okay, it's about 20 to 35% of taxpayers' expenses. Okay, it's a percentage pretty much. But for this to happen, okay, we need the bill. The final bill in the end, the final bill from the end of the year, how much money you pay on it. Because on that little bill from the child place or dependent place that, you left your kid or your elderly parent being taken care of, they're going to have the EIN number and their information. And we need to put that on the form 2441. Okay. If we don't have the information, you cannot receive the credit. Same thing if you have a babysitter. Some babysitters allow mom and dad or the parent to have the social security number. If they have the social security number, or even if you have the IT number, you're able to receive this credit. Okay. But the main thing is the EIN number or the social security IT number. We need that federal number to be in the system. Okay. And we need how much was it. So you got to be a bill. Cannot be somebody telling you was $4,000. He's like, no, I need a bill. Okay. Or I need some type of proof that you paid this amount. That's it. Okay. All right. Remember, it's here, but what's the age to be a qualifying for a child to be the qualifying person under the child dependent care? What's the age?
13.
13. Remember, under the age of 13, under. All right. Or if you have any person who's incapable of self-care, meaning they can't self-care themselves, they're incapable, they can't dress, clean, or feed themselves, and you need somebody to take care of them, you can use this credit as well because of injury or because of some type of disability. Okay. If you're using this, to qualify for this, for spouse, expenses must be paid for the care of the qualifying person to allow the taxpayer and spouse, if married, to work or looking for work. Remember, this while you're working or looking for work, but it's not while you're hanging out or doing other things. It's got to be work and looking for work. I never ask anybody questions because I'm not getting in the middle of this. But the law pretty much, when people get audited, that's what they go with. That's the first thing they ask. During this time that you're getting this credit, where you work, where were you working at? The care including the cost of the service for the qualifying persons, well-being, protection, expenses to attend kindergarten or higher grade aren't expensive for care. Expenses for some of the camp are qualifying. Remember, here you go. Day camp's qualifying, but not overnight camp. All right. So just remember that. All right. Education credits. John, can you tell me the difference from the American Opportunity Credit and the Lifetime Opportunity Credit? If whatever you remember in your words, that's fine.
Okay. The opportunity, American Opportunity Credit is available for the first 4 years of the student's college. The Lifetime Opportunity is available, beyond that, meaning that you could use it as long as you haven't used it up. You can use it for 2 years and then skip some years and use it. If you have some eligibility, you can use it for some other years.
Anybody want to add some stuff that John just said?
Yeah, for American Opportunity is if you go for a degree, and for Lifetime is job related.
All right. Very correct. So thank you, John, and thank Charlie. Yes, American Opportunity Credit. So there's a difference. So here's the question. My question to you both right now. I'm a 5th or 6th year senior. I did not graduate yet, but I'm a 5th, 6th year senior. Can I use the American Opportunity Credit on my 5th and 6th year?
No.
No.
Why not? I didn't finish my bachelor's.
It's you because it's only eligible for your first 4 years.
Correct. Mm-hmm. Remember that. What happened if I went to school? I did my freshman year. I did my sophomore year. I stopped a few years. I stopped in the same university. Then I decided to come back a few years back to finish my junior and senior. Am I be able to use the American Opportunity Credit? Those years that I stopped, I didn't go to any school. I didn't do no program or nothing. I was just working.
Yes.
Mortali, say yes. Yes, Mortali, you can do that. Yes, that is correct. You can do that.
It doesn't have to be 4 consecutive years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's correct. It doesn't say consecutive as long the first 4 years you're trying to do free college for your degree. Yes. Another question. I completed 4 years. All right. Spring semester, I got my bachelor's. Fall on that 4th year, I'm going towards my master's. Okay. Am I able to use the American Opportunity Credit? It was within the same year. I finished a bachelor and I'm going towards a master's. Would I be able to use the American Opportunity Credit?
So you're saying, can you use it for, is it only available for undergrad? I guess that's what you're saying.
Uh-huh.
I mean, if I'm reading this, it doesn't say that it's only available for undergrad. I would say yes.
Okay. So, so here's the thing about it. The American Opportunity Credits only can be used the first 4 years while you're going towards your bachelor's.
Okay. Okay.
But that part you're correct. That is a situation that can be used the first, the credit can be used that year, because that year you finish the bachelor's and you go into your master's. It's within a college year, it's within the tax year. Okay, you were going to you are you're still going for the bachelor's. You still going to the school the first 4 years and you complete it. Okay, you can use that. Somebody can use that if they want to. Well, if they have enough for the 4,000. Okay. However, if somebody did that the 4 years, it was the spring. I decided, you know what? I'm gonna take a semester off. I'm not gonna start fall. I'm gonna take the next spring. Would I be able to use the American Opportunity Credit? Can I?
You mean you've finished your bachelor's and now the fall you're going to start your?
I finished the bachelor's in spring. On the I'm gonna come down a semester for the fall, and for the next year I'm gonna start the master's.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Yeah, that is correct. So there might be situations you're talking to a person and they're like, I went straight to it. I finished it. I finished the spring and summer I started the master's. Or if they have enough for the 4,000, yeah, go ahead and use it. Because remember, you can only use one of these credits for the year. Meaning for that year, you cannot use same credit. So since they already were doing that year, they can already use the American Opportunity Credit for that scenario I told you about. Somebody's finished the same year, they finished the spring semester, and all of a sudden they want to do the summer. There's summer semester now for masters. It's so crazy. You can do the summer semester or you can do the fall, but that within that calendar year. They will let you know. A lot of people, when they do that, will let you know. So what happened if you got a full ride? You never used the American Opportunity Credit before in your life. It's you got a full ride. You got a full ride to college. Now you're paying for your master's, and you talk, you hear about it. Everybody's telling you like, oh, there's American Opportunity Credit, left turn. You read about it, and it's like, you know what? I never got in my life, because I got a full ride. I never, I haven't to pay. This is for people that had to pay for school. I'm like, oh, get the credit for them. So, am I allowed to do it? Because I got a full ride, man. Like, I never got this before. Am I able to do the American Opportunity Credit for my master's or my other degrees? I already got a bachelor's.
No.
Who said no?
Me.
You gotta give me a name. I'm sorry. All right, that's fine. Yes, that's correct. No, you cannot. Okay. You will hear that. I heard that. I think some of you already heard that. I got a full ride for my bachelor's. I never got that when I got the bachelor's. Now maybe I'm going for my second. I'm going for my master's. I want to get the American Opportunity Credit. It's like, I'm sorry, cannot, because the law is the first 4 years or towards your bachelor's. A degree. Once you got that degree, that's it. You already use it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Would age be compute on it? Somebody can be a 40-year-old that never went to school and first time ever.
There's no effect.
Doesn't matter.
What'd you guys say?
You still be eligible.
Yes, remember that. It has no matter. As long as the first time, they can be eligible. Okay. All right. So remember, the credit, it's only 100% of the first 2,000 and 25% of the second 2,000. Okay. Up to the amount of the tax on maximum 2,500, meaning only the first $4,000 for the American Opportunity Credit. So if they already have on tuition $4,000 you know, they don't need to tell you how much the books are or all the expenses because they already max it out. Okay. Or somebody maybe went on their first year as a freshman or sophomore, you know, they went to Northern University, plus they go into the schools at summertime, you know, they went to another school as they max out the 4,000. That's it. You know, even if they have more stuff to put it in, there's not much you can do because they're already maxed out. Okay. 40% of the creditable is a refundable credit. There is a trick. Okay. Did any of you guys did the Pell Grant? Did I do with you guys some of the Pell Grant trick last year? Nobody say yes, so I'll take no. There's a Pell Grant trick. People that receive Pell Grants, there's a trick, and we're gonna go over when we do the tax layer that you're able to max this out and they're able to get a $10,000 very easily. Okay, there's a trick to it. Okay, and we'll go over the scenarios. Okay. The lifetime opportunity credit. Remember, it can be work related. You going back to do your master's, or you know, you want to get another bachelor's. More power to you, but it's only the credit's only up 20% up to the $10,000. So you know, you pay 15, 17, 18, 20,000. You know, 10 for different programs. Only, you know, you already got $10,000. That's it. The credit is only going to take 20%, 10,000, which is $2,000. It is a non-refundable. That means it's going to lower your tax, how much taxes you have to pay on it. Okay. So maintain, you have to remember, okay, eligible students are not required to be enrolled at least half-time or in the degree program. I did volunteer a few years back in Baltimore City doing taxes. And this was a big problem for people that are elderly, older person going back to school, never started a community college, never did it, that felony drug convictions. Okay. If you have this, you get disqualified for this. You cannot receive it. It's a no-no. But if you have this, it doesn't matter for the lifetime opportunity credit. The system, when you're doing it, is going to ask you. Okay. When it asks you, he's going to ask you, as the end of 2020, the student had not been convicted of felony for possessing, distributing, or controlling substance. I just asking, hey, have you been convicted for all of this? Just yes or no. I don't want to know what happened, or you know, if you had happened, but you know, as long if you have it, you gotta let us know. They're gonna call it back, meaning they're gonna ask the money back. Okay.
So this is just drug conviction.
Yeah.
So if they robbed a bank, they'd be okay.
Like I said, that's why I said drug conviction. You know, I don't want to know anything else. It's like drug conviction. It's like just yes or no question. I'm gonna read this answer about drug conviction. Yes or no. Yep. And we just leave it. But that's very interesting, John, that you said that, because you can do everything else and you still get the credit. But if you did that, you pretty much screwed for it. Yep. Remember, for the American Opportunity Credit, the tuition, enrollment fees, course materials, anything you had to buy for school for you to, on the condition that you needed to complete the enrollment or attendance or complete it for a school, you can add that up as your education cost. Okay. Remember, only if the student had not completed the first 4 year of post-secondary education. So here goes, John. It's actually talking about the form is 8863. All right. For you to do a form 8863, you must have a 1098T. Remember that. For you to do a form 8863, you must have a 1098T. And the 1098T, you receive it from the school. Okay. For you to get this credit. Okay. So Josh is 33. He's in his third year of college. He's working towards his degree in chemical engineering. He current pays $5,000 a year in tuition fees, plus $1,000 a year for books purchased through the university's bookstore. He will not be claimed as a dependent on anyone's return, and this is his first degree ever. Can Josh claim his both tax returns, and which return can he claim?
No, it's only one, right?
Yes. So which one?
One, American Opportunity.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Lifetime.
No, American Opportunity.
American Opportunity?
Yes.
Yes, you're correct. It's American Opportunity. All right. Give me 10 minutes. We'll be out of here. Real quick, the child tax credit. Child tax credit used to be $1,000. Now it's $2,000. Okay. Remember that I always used to tell people, hey, it's $1,000 per kid. Or you get $2,000 per kid. And remember, they got to be under the age of 17. The kid must be a U.S. citizen, U.S. national, or a resident alien. Okay. No, they must have a social security number. For them to receive the child tax credit. It doesn't matter if the parent has social security or not, or I-10. The kid must have a social security number. Okay. Or income tax credit, everybody must have a social security number. Child tax credit, the child must have a social security number. Okay. If they're unable, if they don't have a social security card, okay, it becomes a credit for other dependents. The $500. So people that have children who have IT numbers, but they don't have a valid social security number, they're gonna receive the $500 for credit for other dependents. It's a non-refundable credit. Same thing if you have children who are above the age of 17 going to college between the age of 17 and 24, you're still gonna receive the $500 non-refundable credit. And even if you have elderly parents that you're taking care of it, you're gonna receive the $500 non-refundable credit. Okay. Here's a quick scenario. Sarah and John have one child, okay? Parents have one kid. Kid's 14. It's under their care. They take care of the kid. It's their kid. Sarah's brother lives with her. He goes to college. You know, he's independent. She's taking care of him. And her mom and John's mom, and they only make, both of them make less than $2,000, okay? Sarah and John's income is about $55,000 and their federal taxes around $3,500. Out of this scenario that you just heard, regards to the child tax credit and the credit for other dependents, what is the total amount of credits they might be eligible to receive? So they have one kid, right? Remember we talked about if you have a kid under 17, what's the max?
500.
What's the amount you might receive? When you have one kid under 17, what's the amount you might receive?
Was it 500 that you said?
2,000.
2,000.
2,000.
Yeah.
Remember the kid. You have a kid under 17, it's 2,000. No, you might receive 2,000. One of the other kids between the age, it's above the age of 17, but it's under age 24. So how much is that? Remember, they're gonna get a credit for that. How much is that credit?
500 each.
Yes, 500 for Sarah's brother and 500 for John's mother, the elderly mother. Okay, because she's also seems to be their dependent on the tax return. So yes. So how much the total they might receive in credit?
3,000.
3,000.
Yes. The child tax credit. Remember, kids always 2,000. Credit for other dependents, 500 times 2, 3,000. Okay. All right. So if you're receiving a IRA, if you're getting some type of IRA on your W-2 and you having some type of savings contribution on the W-2, the system should calculate the form 8880. Okay. Especially the good thing about the W-2, under line 12, if there's a code D, just one D, And whatever is that money, that means they're putting money towards their 401k plan they're already paying, they have through work, okay? This Schedule R, I I think I only use it once the last 5 years, okay? It's for elderly individuals who 65 or older, individuals under the age of 65 who are retired or permanently and totally disabled may be able to claim a special non-refundable credit. People that are under the age of 65, they make less than like $10,000 and they're working. I done that Schedule R for them, but people who are over the age of 65, these hardly never work because a lot of them don't use this credit. Charlie was asking, hey, so if somebody did it by mistake, their income tax credit, the child tax credit, those credits, what do we do? Well, it's Form 8862. If somebody ever tell you, hey, last year they disallowed some of these credits, but it was a mistake and I was able to get it, okay? Just look for Form 8862. The first question is, was last year disallowed or reduced by, was by an error on the system or something that was not on your control? You put yes or no. When you put yes, that's it. The form says completed. Thank you very much. If you put no and something else happened and it was disallowed because something they told you, it's 2 pages and there's things you got to write on it. Pretty much it's just they trying to appeal the fraud or the judgment they receive from the IRS. Sometimes they'll get it back, sometimes they won't. Depends who is the person who's doing it. But going back again, the rules, the taxpayer can claim the credits can be 2 years. Remember I told you it used to be 2, 5, 10. Now it's 2 years. Or if they found the first time the person really did fraud, like really bad, then it's going to be 10 years. Okay, for the person did the fraud and the person that used the kid and the person that sold the kid. Okay. All right. So upcoming schedule. What's our schedule is going to be like? All right. All right, so today this session, I'm gonna put everything on YouTube so anybody can go anytime, anywhere. Just take a look at it. Our next session is gonna be the 28th. Okay, it's gonna be on Saturday. Bruno's teaching that class. I will be there as a co-host, but he's the main host. Sign up, anybody who want it. There's gonna be 11 to 1. It's gonna be this Saturday. Okay. The 8th. Tuesday, Ms. Johnson gonna teach the intake interview. She's gonna go more into depth about the intake interviews, the do's and don'ts part of it. The 10th, it's the Schedule C business. You guys sign up. I see majority of you guys here did it for 9 time. Same thing. We're gonna go over the Schedule C business and the changes that's happening now. The 12th, it's gonna be the state training. I'm going to talk about the HSA and the ACA part of it. It's going to be 11 to 1. Okay. The states, everybody always sign up for a state. 12. Then December 19, Bruno's going to teach this. He's going to talk about the tax updates, anything about the new law that we know so far. And we're just talking about the other day, anything that's going to come down the pipe before the end of the year or might just pop up. Home office deduction. There's new things about the home office deductions because people are now working from home. So what they can use and cannot use on it. Okay. After that, we're gonna have December 22nd. It's gonna be Taxpayers Refresher. Okay, you can sign up. If you want to do it daytime and nighttime, it's up to you. Each session is gonna be different. So we do have morning and night session. The 6th, same thing, morning, night session. The 9th, nobody signed up for Saturday. I don't think nobody want to do this Saturday night with me. But Saturday, there's also a tax layer refresher, okay? And the last one's gonna be January 12th, okay? Daytime, nighttime, all right? Same thing. It's gonna be different scenarios. I'm gonna do different scenarios for each one, just so everybody can feel comfortable with it. Do as many as possible, because as you just saw a little bit from the basic, there's new law changes and so many other things gonna happen. We are starting our session on January 19th. For those that requested a laptop, the laptop is going to be either you can pick up in the office or it can be delivered. I'll prefer to deliver to you guys' houses, even if I have to put in the driveway and you pick it up, so you guys don't have to come out. But it's truly up to you how you decide it. We have no problem. From the 28th to the 8th, we're going to recognize your emails from the county is going to be active starting January 4th. And the language line is we're going to do a training with the language line. Once you give us a date, I'll put it here as well, and I just videotape it. So once again, going back to it, once I have finalized the schedule for Ms. Johnson, the times, I'm going to send one as this, so you guys can put your schedule, the dates that you want to work. Okay. Or, if the hours, I think it's pretty much going to be the date, maybe you off Tuesday, but you can only do nighttime, which is fine with us, because we'll probably do the day, so you can pick up the case between 2 or 3 days. Or if you have can be 2 or 3 days, but you can work anytime you want, because everything's online. So it can be anytime from Sunday to Sunday, anytime, because it's online. As long as the case is done to a certain time, we have no problem with whatsoever. Okay. Any questions? No questions or nothing for me?
For those who don't order a laptop, they'll be able to access it from their home computer. Is that?
Yeah. If you don't want a laptop, which is fine. Because we saw a lot of a lot of your professionals are retirees, and we saw a lot of you ask us like, hey, I prefer to have a computer. So we decided, let's make the computer available and make sure we have everything with it. Some people's like, you know what? I'll have a desktop at home. I'm good. One thing that we talk about it, we're still gonna make sure y'all have an email with the county.
Okay.
You can use that as a way of communicate if you need to communicate to a client, or they need to send you anything else, because it's still going to be a safe database with the county. Yeah, if you don't want the laptop, which is fine, you can still use your desktop, but we're still going to make sure you get a working email from January to April. Yep.
I have a question. The laptop, you have to register. You have the form to register, or send you email.
Just send me email.
Okay.
Some people
Just send you email
privately. It's like, I want a laptop. So, and I'll start the paperwork on my side. It's just as long as you give me a verbal agreement, or if I ask you, it's like, hey, do you want a laptop? And you say, yeah, I start working the process.
Oh, yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Like I said, you get with the laptop, you be on the county's VPN online every time you go online, but it's like I say, it's really up to you. There's no problem. So for this season, we reach out to a certain number of volunteers because of the laptops and because a lot of security things that we're gonna be doing it. So it's not like the previous years that we have close to 100 people. We made a decision very early. It was like, okay, we're gonna have this limited amount of people, and this is the individuals we would like to ask to come back. Okay. And like I say, since it's online, it's on your own leisure. You don't need to log in at Tuesday at 8 o'clock or right after you come from work. If you want to do it on, and I'll send a email privately one-on-one how you want the flexibility on how you want to do the schedule. Maybe you want to do once a week, maybe you want to do 2 weeks, maybe you want to do twice a week, but the flexibility, I just need you to like the dates and the time. Somebody will reach out to me and say, hey, Saturday you can count on me on this time. I'll do this many cases for you every Saturday or every Thursday at this time. You know, I'll log in and do this many cases you need me to do, and which is fine for us. Yep. Okay. There's no rush. There's no rush. Okay. And there's nothing's gonna be done in an hour. It's a process. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep. Same thing with the qualifications. You guys do it. Since you're returning volunteers, if you guys want to go to basic, advanced, that's fine. If you want to go straight to advanced, you're more welcome to do it, whichever you feel comfortable. For those that are receiving CP credits, you must completed a advanced, do the normal route, which is the advanced. Even if you are, you know, a CPA or EA or a financial broker, if you want to receive CE credits, you must do the normal route. So that way, in the P10, you must have the P10. And I'll send an email about it. Same thing as last year. And for because that's how I'm able to put send the credit numbers towards the spec, the person that runs the program from the RS side. And I have to, you know, do the hours, the paperwork and all, and I send it to her, and she'll make sure that will be under your name for your P10 for next year.
I never got my CE credit.
You never got a C credit? All right. Let me reach out to her because your name wasn't there, John. Yeah.
Am I supposed to receive something in the mail or email?
No. It's supposed to be under your CE. When you look for the credits, it's supposed to be on it.
Oh, I need to see, where would I look for the CE?
You go to your P10 when you sign up for your P10.
Oh, okay.
That number should show up under the VITA credit hours.
I'll have to go in there and see how
Have you checked on it or no?
I have not checked on it because I need to follow instructions how to check on it.
Okay. Yeah, the way we did it to make it easy for everybody, we used the federal DRS guidelines, and
Okay.
because instead of you having to print out, we just we work with the spec, and I tell her how many credit. I max out everybody's credit. Then I have to put in the hours he did and everything else, and get the signature from me and double back with Ms. Johnson, and then they'll put it on the federal database under your name.
Okay.
Yeah, but double check on it because your name and everybody else to give it. I had to do the list like 3 times because of COVID, because they wanted to double check your name was on it. So if it's not, let me know because I'll definitely make sure you get those credits.
Okay, great.
Yep. So once again, you can sign up. I'm gonna put this on YouTube so you guys can see this anytime. Any more questions? Anything anybody has?
This year, do we take the county some training, like security part?
Yes, you do have it to take the HIPAA.
HIPAA, okay.
But remember, you can take the exam as many times as you want, as long as you. As long as you pass 80%, I just need the end credit. That's it. The paperwork with your signature, and that you got 80%. Yep.
So you, excuse me, you will send the email to remind the deadline for all of the examination.
I need it by before we start.
On the certificate.
Yeah, I will need it at least by the day before we start. And if you need a little longer time, that's fine with me. I have no problem.
So what day? January?
It's January 14th.
January 13th is the due date for all of the certificate, right?
Yeah, let me double check here. We start 19. I'll take it. You know what? I'm probably going to be working that weekend, as always. I'll take it by that weekend because we start on January 19. So I even take the day off. That's fine with me. If you're able to get it before, that's fine. If not, there's no problem. But I'll take the day off. If you need a little longer, let me know. Say I need more time.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
No.
Nope.
No questions from this group? Okay. So I'll be, if I don't see some of you guys this Saturday, happy Thanksgiving, because it's after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Either way, if I don't see you guys this
Before that,
Saturday,
right?
happy Thanksgiving, and I'll be seeing you guys in 2 weeks then.
Okay.
Okay, so happy Thanksgiving in advance.
Yep. Enjoy
Okay.
time with your family if you're able to. If not, enjoy some turkey. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will. Thank
very
you.
much, guys. Thanks for your
Bye-bye.
time.
Okay,
Bye. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.